Water gets poured down in that short period of time. Unfortunately, the city's going to flood.
For the first time, Mayor Mitch Landrieu and Governor John Bel Edwards tour areas of New Orleans that were inundated by this weekend's heavy rains. The visit comes amid criticism that the city's flood response was poor. Good evening, I'm Karen Swenson.
And I'm Tan Trung. We just found out moments ago that 7 out of the 121 of the city's pumps were actually out of service for maintenance during Saturday's flood.
We have live team coverage with Carice Jackman, who just talked to the mayor for the first time about Saturday's floods. But first, we begin with Paul Murphy, who takes a closer look at why it took so long for the street flooding to drain. Paul?
Karen, Todd, Sewage and Water Board General Superintendent Joe Becker just told us that 7 out of 121 pumps were out during Saturday's rain event. Those pumps were scattered throughout the city, included in some areas that received up to 9 inches of rain in a period of about 3 hours. But according to Becker, despite the outages, the city had more than enough capacity to handle the amount of water getting to those pumping stations.
We do have a number of pumps that because of the preventive maintenance work that we're doing all the time, we do have pumps that are out of service at any given rain event. It's very unusual. As I mentioned, we have 121 pumps. It's very, very unusual for us to be able to use all 121 pumps.
Again, Becker admits that 7 out of those 121 pumps were out of service during Saturday's rain event. So, meanwhile, did the city's entire drainage system work at peak efficiency on Saturday? Well, we pose that question to neighbors and one drainage expert today. Frustration among New Orleans neighbors suddenly inundated with street flooding is as high as the water that came up quickly on Saturday.
Looked like a lake in front of our house, and all over the neighborhood, the streets was flooded out.
I would definitely look at the pumps, first and see if they are operating.
Parts of the city saw up to 8 inches of rain in a matter of hours. That overtaxed the drainage system, which can only handle about 1 inch of rain the first hour and a ½ an inch every hour after that. Civil engineer H.J. Bosworth explains how the drainage process is supposed to work.
That the water that falls in the street goes into the nearby catch basins. If it can get into and out of the catch basin and then flows into a series of pipes, the pipes gradually get larger as it flows to the nearest pumping station. The pumping station then has an inlet basin that the water has to get to before it can pick the water from the inlet basin and pump it over the pump station itself into the nearby canal.
The outfall canal then dumps the rainwater into Lake Pontchartrain. But Bosworth admits many drainage pipes and catch basins are constricted by leaves and other debris, and some of the underground pipes are cracked or broken, all adding to the time it takes to get the water off the streets.
If all the pipes were clear and all the catch basins were clear, we would probably have a whole lot less flooding.
Lakeview neighbor Chris Beecher says Saturday was the 3rd time water has flooded Polk Street this year.
It sits here and pools here for the longest, and then it finally decides to find its way out to the lake.
Gerard Roshan claims high grass and debris in the Palmetto Canal are hurting drainage in the New Zion neighborhood.
Need to be handled, because if not, it's going to get worse, and then the canal will be overflowing.
And New at 6 will tell you if all 24 pumping stations in the city like this one here on South Broad were manned before and during Saturday's rains. We're live in Central City. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Paul. And so many people have a lot of questions for city leaders following the flooding.
Many residents and businesses that took on water say the city needed to do more to protect their property. Carice Jackman followed the mayor and the governor on their tour this afternoon. She joins us live now from Lakeview. Good evening, Carice.
Good evening, Ton and Karen. Yeah, the mayor and the governor just wrapped up their tour. You can see here some of the areas badly damaged here in Lakeview.